We're going to take the drive and we're going to plug it into this little slot right here. We're going to plug it in upside down. Okay. And then back here, there's a little power button. I'm going to flip that switch. This will start turning on right here. It'll take a little while. Now you always want to check, make sure this isn't too dusty. Right now it's pretty dusty. So back here we have some wipes. Get a wipe here. Wipe it off. If it's dusty, it'll affect the build plate adhesion and it might not stick the way you need it to. So we're just gonna wipe this off here. Also, sometimes there will be a little plastic strip right here. So you wanna pull that off. So the first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to change the filament. So we're gonna go to prepare, click on that, and we're gonna go down to preheat PLA. So just click on that. And you'll hear the motor start to kick on a little bit. It's going to get to about 200 degrees Celsius on the head and 60 degrees Celsius on the plate. What we really want is the head right now is what we're worried about. We're going to get it up to about 180 and then we can start doing stuff. Now, you'll notice that the color pack that we got they have been snapping. So that's kind of annoying, but it's, it is what it is. Now, once it gets preheated, what we're going to do is we're going to take this knob right here. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn it counterclockwise, and that'll push the filament further in, down into the nozzle. And you want to do that so that it'll liquefy that, because right now there's kind of a blob on the end of the filament, and we want that blob to be melted and strung out. That way it'll pull out easily. Okay. And so we'll push it through a little bit. Some of the filament will come through the bottom down here, which is what we want. And then once it's got a little bit out of there, then we should be ready to pull it out. So we're at about 180 now, so it should be warm enough to do this. So we're just gonna turn this a little bit. I feel some resistance. I can feel it slowly coming out. You can also see it coming out under there. So now I've done that. Now I can turn it the other way to get it out. Okay, so we've run into a problem here. The filament has broken. So now we have some filament stuck in there. That's a pain. What we're going to do is we're going to take this little wrench right here. We're going to loosen this nut. Now this part is not heated, so you don't need to worry about that. We got that loosened. There's the last bend of the filament, and I'm just going to pull that out. Okay, so because we did push it in, you'll notice that it doesn't have a really bad blob on the end. It's still kind of a blob-ish, but not too bad. Okay, so then we put that back in, screw it in there, okay. And then you don't have to get it super tight, but you do want it, snug. So we got that in there. Now we're gonna take the filament. I am just gonna use red again, a nice bright color since it's like an emergency thing anyway. Now you'll notice here, well, you might not be able to see it, but this is actually a little bit tangled. You don't want it tangled, so make sure it's not tangled, because if it gets tangled, it can cause problems during the print process. Now, right now, it's a very flat edge on the end of the filament. Sometimes that'll go through. Usually it won't. You stick it in the little hole back here, then you start turning the nozzle. It's not going through. That's because it doesn't like that. So what we're going to do, clip it, and we want to clip it so that the end closest to the window there, furthest away from us, is the long end, and the end closest to us is the short end, and that'll give it the right angle to slide in there better. So I'm going to go ahead and do that here. Okay, so I use these blue pliers, snipped it so the long end is away from me. I'm going to slide that in there. I got it in that hole. Turn the knob here. You can see it starting to go down the pipe. You can't really see it on the camera very well, but it's going through there. Now this color stuff, it's cheaper. It's very, very brittle, so you have to be kind of baby it, kind of be careful with it. Sometimes it'll take 2 or 3 times to get it to go in without snapping. So you also want to be careful. You want to try not to move this around too much, like up and down and this forward and backward. That can damage the electronics. So try not to push on it too hard. So we can see we got it all the way in there. There's some more PLA coming out. Now we're going to scroll back up to back on here, back. But scroll over, so everything is pushing or turning this knob here. So we're gonna push on print. So here's the file here. We're just going to go ahead and scroll down to it. Click on it, and there it goes. So it'll go ahead and start printing. So you might want to watch it just to make sure it has a good start. I watch it to make sure it's going, then I check it after like 15 minutes or so to make sure it still looks good. And then you can check it every once in a while if you want it. It's going to center itself, make sure it has all its axes figured out. Then it'll put a strip on the side. That's to get rid of any stuff from the previous color. All right, there it is, finishing up. Push it forward, the head out of the way. Then just gonna pop it off. And you can remove the raft. There you go, finished product. When you're done, just make sure that you flip the power switch off. There it is, easy peasy. Hope you enjoy. Have fun.